And then I'm going to create. Awesome. So cluster is being prepared. And what we can do now is we can click on this connect button up top and we can copy all of our info. So I'm going to copy the Weaviate URL here. I'm going to bring it back over here. And if you're doing this for real, please store these as environment variables. But for right now, I'll just paste them in there because it's fine if you access these. Okay, we're also going to copy the Weaviate API key here, bring it back over here as well. Awesome. And then we need to connect from here to our cloud. So I'm going to go back over here. And what's nice about this little button is it already gives you the code. So I'm going to copy this part, go back over here. I'm going to paste this part. And hopefully when I run this, it'll work. Oh, it might not work because I don't know if it's ready yet. Okay, it's still being prepared. Give it a second then. Do. Can I put some elevator music? Okay, why it's doing that, I'll go a little bit over the next part. So when that works, we'll have a client is ready. And then we need to actually create our collection within Weaviate to store our vectors that we just made in. So I've imported all the Weaviate stuff up here, and I'm going to define my collection name as Bring Your Own Vectors Collection, BYOV collection. And then this is just if I already have a collection, delete it. So then I'm going to initialize a collection by client collections.create, client.collections.creates. My collection name will be the collection name. And then I have to set a vectorizer config, and we have our own vectors for this one. So we actually want to set the config to none. So then I'm going to do wvc.config.configure configure.vectorizer.none. And this is because we already have our vectors. So we don't want to actually vectorize anything within here. Is my cluster ready yet? Yeah, okay. Cluster's ready. Hopefully this should work now. Yeah, so client is ready, true. And then we can initialize our collection. Nice, run. Next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna insert all our data into this collection. So I've defined properties here. We have a text property and a title property. And then I can insert text, title, and also our embeddings into the collection. So by using this vector property. And I'm using insert many. And if I run this, it will put all of our data into the collection. If we go back into the cloud, reload this, reload this again. Go to the Explorer and our embedding demo and our bring your own vector collection, we can actually see all of our stuff that's in Weaviate already. So we have our vectors here. Nice. We have our text, we have our title. Great. So everything looks good in here. Nice. Okay, let's go back to the clusters, go back to our thing. So just to test it out, make sure it works, let's do a little searchy through this with vector search, which we'll get into more next webinar, which you should also join. So my query is going to be which papers apply ML to the medical domain, and I'm going to return 3 results. I'm going to create my query embedding, so I have to embed this as well in order to be able to search through the vector embeddings. All the stuff has to be in vectors. So I'm just going to do model, which is the original BERT model up there, .encode.query, and that's going to turn this into a vector representation. And then what I'm going to do here, pull up my notes, is collection.query.near vector. I'm going to do near vector equals query embedding. So I'm saying I want all the results that are near the vector, similar to the vector of my query embedding. And then my limit is just going to be top n, which is defined up here. And if we run this, we get our results. So the top 3 results are this, medical images, nice. General adversarial neuroimaging, clinical neuroscience, again, nice. And this one was probably about medicine, but yeah, we're just returning the title here, but I'm sure if we return the abstract, it would also be medicine. Awesome. So that works. So that's how we used a open source model with Weaviate with bring your own vectors. Now I wanted to go through a different example where we use OpenAI. This is also one where you can use Cohere, and this is where we're going to send our data through their API, since it's a closed source model, in order to generate the embeddings. So I did the same stuff up here. We have the same random, not the same random, a different random data set of 100 objects. And now we need to connect to the cloud again here. So let me go back over here. Click the connect button for the right sandbox and copy our URL. And also copy our API key. And I've set my OpenAI API key as an environment variable in Google Colab because that's one I don't want you to see. So, but you can use it in Colab like this or use any other library in Python. So now we need to connect to the cloud again. So I'm going to copy this and paste it here. And there's actually one other thing we need to include here, which is a header. So if we go over to Weaviate's documentation and model provider integrations, you'll see all of our different model providers that you can use for vector embeddings slash generative modules. So OpenAI has text embeddings. That's the one we want to use. We'll talk about generative modules in the 3rd webinar. You should also join that one. And if we scroll down, we'll see here, this will be our header that we need to include in the connect. So I'm just going to copy this here, go back over here, paste it in there, and I named this slightly differently, so let's change that. Forgot to run this, but here's our different data set of 100 objects. And hopefully when I run this, we're going to get a is ready. Nice. True. Awesome.